something goes wrong and the bad guys win that day and they never see their family member again. And yet my Democrat colleague repeatedly referred to our honorable ICE and CBP agents as masked thugs.
All right, guys, did you hear what just happened? I'm honestly shocked right now. Ilhan Omar basically called the men and women protecting our borders thugs. Seriously? We've heard a lot of crazy political talk before, but this feels like a whole new level of disrespect. Then Jody Arrington stepped up and responded hard. You could see it on his face. He looked completely fed up, just like millions of Americans who are tired of this anti-border security rhetoric. And trust me, he did not hold back. He went straight after her. Arguments and completely challenged the whole defund idea right there in the room. We're about to watch the full exchange together and wow, this gets intense fast. So grab your popcorn because this is the kind of political showdown everyone's going to be talking about.
It is even more incomprehensible considering it comes after Trump and congressional Republicans already created an $85 billion slush fund for ICE during the last budget reconciliation process. In my district, ICE has used the money to terrorize Minnesotans, particularly our Black and brown communities, through Operation Metro Surge. We watched in horror as ICE agents murdered our neighbors, Renee Good and Alex Brady, in broad daylight. We witnessed our neighbors being snatched off the street, pulled from their homes and cars without a warrant. We saw dozens of children ripped away from their families, friends, and schools, shipped to detention centers out of state. Our communities are still recovering from that devastation caused by the federal occupation and the blatant trampling of the rights we as Americans hold dear. We cannot send this rogue and unaccountable agency another cent.
You'll hear my colleagues no doubt say, if we could just agree on some common sense reforms, we would have opened up the Department of Homeland Security. We would have been glad to work with you. But let's think about these quote unquote common sense reforms. To require this administration to get a judicial warrant to expel criminal aliens from our country. There is not a Democrat or Republican former commander-in-chief that would ever find that acceptable. Because in fact, these criminal aliens have had their day in immigration court and they have their orders to be expelled because they are not here with cause. They are here with threat to my family and to my community and to my great state of Texas and to this beloved country of ours, and it's unacceptable. But they would effectively stop all deportations. But we had an election after 4 years of lawlessness and chaos at the southern border, crime, criminals, and all kinds of criminal elements and drugs that killed more people than the entire Vietnam War in 1 year. And this president was elected to restore law and order, rule of law in this great civil society of ours. It's been an embarrassment for those 4 years, and he's done it. And that's what the people sent us here to do. That's the mandate they gave us, along with unified Republican leadership. But there's been one wall of obstruction after another for this president and this administration. And that's one example of their ridiculous, absurd, unserious demands. The other one is, and I heard this at the Rules Committee, my friend, and I couldn't believe my ears. They called our law enforcement agents who risked their lives to keep us safe. Their families pray and wait for their mom or dad to come home, wondering if something goes wrong and the bad guys win that day and they never see their family member again. And yet my Democrat colleague repeatedly referred to our honorable ICE and CBP agents as masked thugs. When evil is called good and good is called evil. You remember that quote? You remember that admonition? These are the days. Mr. Speaker, we've given 16 chances, and all opportunities to vote to turn this government of the people back on and support our ICE and CBP agents, to protect our ports by funding our guardsmen, to protect the CISA agents, to protect our critical infrastructure while cyber attacks are on the rise, and to resource our FEMA agency to be ready to respond to our citizens in a natural disaster. 16 times they said no. No. And here we are. Demasking our agents, calling them masked thugs. 8,000% increase, Mr. Speaker, in death threats to these gentlemen and gentle lady who wear the badge, who wear the uniform, who protect the thin blue line. 1,300% increase in assaults. 3,200% increase in vehicular assaults. We know who they are. We have made great effort to identify each agent so they would be held accountable if they did anything illegal or inappropriate. But we have cartel members who have bounties of tens of thousands of dollars on their heads. And we have masked, leftist, radical, violent folks who are assaulting them in the streets while they're trying to do their dangerous job. You want to know why we're here, Mr. Speaker? You want to know why we're here, American people?
Wow. Wow. Did you guys see that exchange? On one side, you had Ilhan Omar making some very serious accusations against ICE and border agents. Instead of sounding like a normal policy debate, it felt more like a direct attack. She talked about billions of dollars being wasted and accused border agents of abusing their power. But then Jody Arrington stepped in, and you could immediately tell he was fired up. He started bringing up real numbers and real concerns. He talked about the huge rise in threats and attacks against border agents, reminding everyone that these are real people risking their lives every day to protect the border. And honestly, that was the biggest moment for me. Arrington argued that supporting border security and enforcing laws is what many Americans voted for. He pushed back hard against the idea that stronger border enforcement is somehow wrong or extreme. He also brought up the fentanyl crisis and the impact illegal drugs are having on families across the country, especially in border states like Texas. What made the moment intense was how direct he was. He didn't back down, and he challenged Omar's arguments head on. By the end, it really felt like he had taken control of the debate. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Arrington was right to respond that strongly? Or should these debates be handled differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more political updates and reactions.